Dating is simply a waste of time, a huge waste of time for men anyway. It's a waste of time, energy, and money. Now, not advocating celibacy of any kind. Uh, I believe in the pump and dump method of dealing with women, unless a woman can show that she is worthy of something more, which is extremely rare with women, the Western woman, and specifically black women. So I have about 10 reasons why I believe that dating in this modern era is a huge waste. So my definition of dating is literally the worship of women through materialism. You can only show your interest in this modern society and culture through money. Movies, dinners, gifts of all sorts. A man has to simply prove his worth to her and meet her standards based on how he can worship her and how sacrificial he can be. The woman as a greedy pagan god who demands human sacrifice, she demands the sacrifice of all things monetary and material in order to please her. And her greed has no end. So that's the biggest reason why dating is a waste. So that would be number 10. So number 9, dating is a waste because women have really stupid conversations. You really have to dumb down to talk to most women. They have nothing on their minds except what's immediate, what directly affects them. They have no objectivity, no care or concern about the world at large. Their energies and thought processes strictly related to themselves. This is a part of her narcissistic nature. Not conditioning, but nature. Number 8. Obviously, I'm counting backwards. Women think that a relationship is strictly about their desires and their needs only and exclusively. In dealing with women myself in the past, I don't think that some women even realize that there is somebody else in the equation. Their idea of being with a man is exclusively about their comforts, their desires, what they want to do, what they enjoy. Yeah, a woman may claim she would compromise, but this is only temporary. Dating only benefits her. Number 7, women never seek to know a man as an individual. They care not about what your interests are. They care not about who you are as a person, your character, your thoughts, your ideals. They care nothing about those things. They want to spend time focused on themselves. Number 6, women are extremely boring, especially to a man of intellect. Now, there are some very simple men out there, and I understand that. But for most women, not all, but most women, having any intellectual conversation with them is like talking to a wall. After sex, then what? After you had your release, your orgasm, now what? Her purpose is pretty much served, and there's really nothing else to relate to her about. Number 5, women want you to be a fucking clown. Every woman that I've ever met, that I've ever known, wants a man to entertain her through jokes and humor. Now, I can be humorous. Seldomly, but I can be. But in no way should a man make himself a fucking clown for a woman. A woman's second dating requirement after height. Well, I'm going to say third, because height first. Well, let's say money first, then height, and then you have to be a fucking clown for her. She wants you to provide endless entertainment for her. and primarily through making her laugh. This sounds like a king when he would call for his servants to entertain him. And as a queen/king herself, most women want you to come into her courts, not only worship her, but amuse her as well. Number 4, a woman is never, ever, ever satisfied with anything. If a man worships her through money, if he entertains her by being a fucking clown, if he seeks to program the relationship to be exclusively about her, she still would find something to complain about. Women can never be satisfied, no matter what. Number 3, when dealing with a woman, you often have to not only date her, but date her friends and her relatives. What I mean by this is every single woman in the United States of America, I believe, without exception, has some woman, some relative in the background telling her what she should be getting out of the relationship. How many gifts she should be getting, how often those gifts should be given, the things that this particular man should be doing to please and worship her. It's almost a subconscious thing. Women have somewhat of a council, a meeting of the minds, sometimes between 2 or more, of course, with an unlimited number of women comparing notes to see, hey, what is this guy doing to worship you? How is this guy facilitating your life? Because in a woman's mind, the idea of manhood and being male and being an individual man is not about self-awareness for that individual man. It's about her comfort and convenience. Women literally think that men were put on the planet to serve them. And as we know, according to the scripture, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 9, I know many of you out there hate the Bible, but I'm going to say this anyway. It says that the female was created for the male, not the other way around. And if she's a gift to you, don't you own the gift? Anyway, number 2, women want to be the boss. No doubt about it. In fact, if you're a real man who have integrity and values and understand what manhood is, it's almost impossible to deal with most women. You have to be emasculated to deal with your average woman. You have to be her servant and let her lead. This is extremely unnatural. Yeah, and this is a result of white supremacy, capitalism, and feminism. But a real man cannot comply. Real men must dominate. Letting a woman be the boss is akin to being a homosexual. Homosexuality is about one man dominating another sexually and otherwise, which is unnatural, immoral, and sick. And I think just as sick is seeing a woman completely dominate a man. You might as well cut off your nuts and jump in a river, because you are completely and utterly useless as an individual human being, and most of all as a man. In fact, you can't define man without defining dominance over females. So if you're a man and you don't dominate your woman, then I couldn't call you a man. I don't think that many of us could, at least those who are real men and have the intellectual honesty and capacity to figure these things out. In other words, people who've taken the red pill. Right? And the number one thing is having to deal with women's constantly changing emotions. I've never lived with a woman, but I've dealt with many. And as the wind blows, so does her emotions. And if you're a man who is letting her be the boss, if you're worshiping her through materialism, if your life is to serve her, then you have to deal with the exhausting task of changing with her emotions. If one day she feels up, it doesn't matter how you feel. You need to be happy-go-lucky with her. If she's excited and happy about anything in the world, your emotions must match hers. If not, she is unhappy. And you are viewed as being negative and being evil. And this is why you should never seek validation from women of any kind. And if she's feeling down, it doesn't matter how you feel. The world is a terrible place. You must feel like the world is a terrible place right along with her. Whatever emotion she has, whether great, small, your emotions must be set to be on even keel with hers. And this is tiring and exhausting because a woman's emotions are always changing. And this is ridiculous to have to follow that. Men are extremely weak, in my opinion, because most men worship women. There's no reason for a fat, out-of-shape woman with children by different men to be able to have her pick over thousands of men who are willing to fall at her feet, worship her, and take care of her bastard children and be happy about it. And in fact, men will compete with each other to be a stepdaddy, to be the worshiper of a woman. She doesn't have to be pretty. She doesn't have to be clean. She doesn't have to be nice. All she has to have is a vagina, and men will fall down and worship her. And having said that, we must admit that men are the weaker sex. And the ones, the 5% of us, because 95% of men are simps, especially black men, the 5% of us who don't worship women, we really stand out. And we will not compromise our values. We will not compromise ourselves to worship women. So dating women in this modern age, this third wave of feminism or whatever wave, is a complete waste of time. And the pump and dump is pretty much the only worth or the only purpose women serve. In a better world, a woman would not be your equal, but she would be your supporter, someone to confide in, someone to find rest and comfort in, and most importantly, someone who supports your visions, your goals, and your dreams. But this, in this day and age, is literally impossible. And a woman's worth is only, at least for a real man, her worth is only measured in her willingness, ability, and desire to serve you. There is no equality among the sexes. God didn't build us that way. So that's my little thought and somewhat rant about why dating is stupid. If you are lucky enough to find a woman who will support and be submissive to you, then you found a good one. But for most men, this is impossible. So, no marriage, no children, which means no alimony, no child support, pump, and motherfucking dumb. This is Black Ram.